Good morning. Today we are making our video for packet number 9. It is due next week, Friday. Turn it in early and you can correct the mistakes, learn from those mistakes. On our first page, it says a dance company held auditions to fill 3 spots in the company. The first round of auditions, 2/3 of the dancers were cut. After the second round, only 1/4 of the remaining dancers made it to the third round. 2 were cut after the third round, leaving 3 moving on to the fourth round. How many dancers attended the auditions? So some of us are like, ooh, I'm gonna do it the math way and work my way backwards using the math. Some of us are like, it's just confusing when I get these word problems and there's all this information. When I come to a word problem with lots of information, I like to just look at it visually with my bar model. So if I make my bar model of all the dancers, I know after the first round, 2/3 were cut. So I divide it up into thirds, and I know 2/3 of them were cut. After the second round, 1/4 were remaining to move on. So I'm gonna divide it into fourths. 1/4 of them move on, so that means 3/4 are cut. Then I know 2 were cut after the third round and 3 move on. That tells me how many went into that third round. This section was divided up into 4 equal parts. So if I know how many are in one of those equal parts, I know how many are in each of those equal parts. Then I can say, oh, this section came from all 3 of these sections that were divided up equally. So if I know how many are in one of these sections, I know how many are in the other 2 sections, and I can just add them up. So I did that really quick. You can always go back and go slowly through my video, okay, to figure out how many dancers there are altogether. So you can either do it the math way, showing how you did it, show me your calculations you did, or you can do a bar model like I did and breaking it up, labeling the numbers, showing how you get your final answer. Now Andy is going to take a 30-question test in which he earns 9 points for every correct answer. He loses 5 points for every wrong answer, and he loses 1 point for every question he doesn't answer. Is it possible for Andy to score a 0 on the test? If so, how? Spoiler, yes, it's possible. Figure out how. And it's not, don't answer any of them, then he's going to get a 0. No, because he loses a point every time he doesn't answer. So he would be at -30 if he didn't answer any questions on the test. You don't just say, oh, get them all wrong. Don't answer them. No, you're going to have to guess and check, figuring out how you can get to a 0. How many right does he answer? How many wrong? How many does he not answer? There are multiple solutions to this. So you might come up with one and your neighbor comes up with something different. That's okay. All right, as long as it equals out to be a 0, why your answer makes sense, you have to show me how many correct, how many wrong, how many doesn't he answer, and how that adds up to be 0. 5-card challenge. I've had some people wanting to do something like this, using a square or doing a square root. You have to have a 2 in order to, a 2 as a card in order to be able to do that. Next one is our pattern. So you need to complete the entire table. Complete it for the green. You'll be able to see that pattern for your green. Complete it for your total blocks. You should see a pattern for the total blocks. The pattern for the purple, it's a little bit harder, but all you have to do is subtract the green from the total and you'll be left with your purple. Okay? So look at my favorite kind of numbers. Okay? My favorite numbers show up all the time on these pattern pages. It will show up with your total blocks. So fill in what we know for these four. We know that there are 3 across here and 3 across here. It is a little hard to see those squares, but if I can see them, you can see them. Okay? So if you have a trouble, if you want to double check that you're putting the right numbers down, come check with me. All right, but look for those patterns for the green, patterns for the total blocks, and then subtract them to get the purple blocks. Finding the area of an entire figure and the shaded area. It is really light, but this is our shaded area. So when we look at this, the area of the figure is our full square, and it is a square. Okay, so this is our full area. The area of a square is that length times the width. So if we know the radius of this circle, that's halfway, you should be able to figure out what that full length is for that full area. Now to find the area of the shaded region, we have 2 half circles, which, when we add 2 half circles together, it equals 1 complete circle. So we need to find the area of the circle, which is pi times r squared. Remember that to find the shaded, you take the full, you subtract out the white, and you are left with your shaded area. Big thing to remember is that area of the circle is pi r squared. Next page. We have a rectangular prism. And we know the volume of the rectangular prism is 360 feet. What is its surface area? Well, in order to figure that out, we need to figure out what the x is. What is the measurement of that side? So we have to use our volume equals length times width times height. Fill in the numbers you know. Do opposite operations to solve for x. That's going to give you this side's measurement. Then to find the surface area, there is a formula for the surface area, or the easy way to do it is just to draw your net. Find the area of each of those sides, 6 sides, find the area of each side, add them together. That is your surface area. So if we know the length, the height, and the width, we know the length, the height, and the width. Okay, fill in and find your, do your multiplying length times width to find the area of each of those rectangles. Add them all together, and you will have your surface area. So your answer is not what x is. Okay, that's just the side. Surface area, find the area of each side and add them up. This page, same formulas that we've had on previous packets. Okay, different lengths and widths and heights that are being given. So, good formulas for you to start memorizing. Rectangular prism is length times width times height. Our cube is length times width times height. Just remember, it is a cube, so they all have to be the same. Triangular prism is length times width times height divided by 2. Our pyramid is length times width times height divided by 3. Our cylinder is pi r squared times height. Our cone is pi r squared, and our height is divided by 3. Our sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Pre-algebra needs to do 3 of these. You can challenge yourself and do all of them. As long as you get 3 correct, you pass this page. Okay, so you need to get 3 correct to pass the page. Working with these formulas is always good preparation for that MAP test that's coming up in April. So challenge yourself, try to do more. Using opposite operations, you know the volume of each of the shapes, you know some of the measurements. Use opposite operations to find the ones that you don't know. Next page, it's like a Sudoku puzzle. So you're going to place a number 1 through 4 in each empty square so that there is one of each number in every row, column, and bolded block. So we have our bolded square needs to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 in it. Our column needs to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 in it. And our row needs to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 in it. You can't have multiple numbers in the same box, in the same row, in the same column. There is a way to get your numbers in there so you're not repeating numbers. You have each of the 4 numbers in every box, in every row, in every column. Okay? So sometimes you gotta do a little erasing if you go, oh wait, that doesn't work, I gotta switch it to this other one. That's why we use pencils with math. Next page. You are going to create a graph that represents the data in the table. Then you're going to answer the question, what is the total number of injuries that occurred? You do have some space on the paper. If you want to do a bar graph here, you sure can. Or if you want to do it on a separate piece of paper, I have extra paper up in the front corner, and you can staple it on. When you do a graph, if you're doing a bar graph, you got your bars, you're going to have what those bars are. You're going to have your numbers going up the side. Remember, you have to have correct labeling. Don't just put numbers going up the side. Tell me what those numbers represent. Don't just put words on the bottom. Tell me what they represent. So you need to have labels, correct labels on that bar graph. You need to make sure you answer the question. All right, so you need all those components to get the point for this page. And our last page is the polyominoes, which we know how to do. Sliding over, not rotating, not flipping. That is our packet number 9. If you continue to have questions on it, come see me. Turn it in early so I can be correcting and giving it back to you so you can fix your mistakes. It is due next week, Friday. Usually it's due that following Tuesday, but that is spring break. So if you turn it in to me by Thursday of next week, you will be able to correct your mistakes. Okay, so up until Thursday of next week. If you are watching at home and you have questions, make sure you come see me. I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.